Teachers of Reddit, what's the craziest rumor you've heard about a student that turned out to be true? As a student, there was a rumor a kid in our high school was dating this really hot teacher. He would hang out in her room every day after school and she drove him home a few times. It turns out after our junior year she got a divorce. And after senior year she resigned. Joined his band. And they got married. I mean, they're still married and it's been almost 8 years. But man, it was super f***ed up. I heard a rumor from other staff members that an exceptionally bad kid chose to misbehave because he was dying of cancer. It turns out the kid was told in 2nd grade that he had 6 months to live. Despite having missed half the year, the school shuffled him along to the next grade so he could stay with his friends, trying to not ruin his limited time on Earth. However, he continued to miss tons of school for treatment and continued to not die. Despite doctors estimating his time remaining to be very short, he continued to be shuffled along in school. Until suddenly he found himself in high school and almost illiterate. So he acted out and misbehaved, and when teachers tried to discipline him, he would scream "I'm dying" to try to guilt his way out of punishment. That boy's name? That a student couldn't hand in their assignment because there was an explosion in their house. Having heard many excuses before, I was very skeptical to say the least. An hour later, guidance called me down to inform me that the student had been living with some sort of drug dealer and their apartment had indeed experienced an explosion due to drug-related equipment. I didn't see that one coming. And the student got an appropriate extension on the assignment. A group of giggling 12-year-olds in my class told me that one of their fellow students wasn't in today as she was pregnant. I phoned home, fully expecting this to be some stupid rumor started by the kids on the school bus that morning. But no, my 12-year-old student was not only pregnant, but had actually given birth in her bedroom during the night. She was a little overweight anyway and wore big baggy jumpers. Everyone did back then, so nothing unusual there. So no one noticed at all and she told no one, claiming she had no idea. I'd taken them all on a school trip to Alton Towers theme park the day before and she'd been on all the roller coasters and rides. No wonder she gave birth. I used to work with students at a construction college who were aged between 16 and 19. Shortly after a new intake, I overheard a couple of the new learners calling one of the others bank robber. I asked them all to stay behind to talk to them about appropriate names, ensure there wasn't any bullying going on, etc. The young man in question seemed extremely well mannered and had what I can only describe as a baby face with a cheeky grin. Turns out he actually had a criminal record of trying to hold up a bank with his dad using garden implements. I had no words. Must have been quite the hoedown. Male student was sharing PRN at school. Once confronted, he said, "I just wanted to show them my sister." Parents confirmed that the actress was indeed his sister and that they were very proud of her success. We heard from a disgruntled boyfriend that his girlfriend had let the entire basketball team have sex with her, one right after the other. We took it as a jealous, angry attempt to smear her reputation, but obviously had to look into it for safety reasons and because it reportedly took place on school grounds. We did some asking around and quickly found out that she had indeed had sex with the entire basketball team in roughly 45 minutes before one of their games. She said someone brought it up as a joke because it would bring the team good luck. One thing led to another. Yikes. I heard about 2 6th graders who were rumored to be involved in prostitution. A teacher later confirmed it as true, as both students were discovered dead, murdered while working as prostitutes. I don't remember the full story, but the teacher was heartbroken because they were her students. I remember in 6th grade I shared a bus stop with a girl who told me she was a prostitute. I didn't believe her, but after that year I never saw her again and I met her older sister a few years later and confirmed it all. Crazy stuff. They both were getting pimped out by their own mom. Not a teacher, but there was a rumor senior year that a girl was blowing her boyfriend in the parking lot before school every morning, and it became so prevalent that even the teachers knew about it. School administrators finally investigated it and it turned out the girl really was blowing her boyfriend in the parking lot before school every morning. I did high school so wrong. Not a teacher but. In high school I heard a rumor that one of the English teachers was sending dirty letters and stalking girls on the sports teams. Found out it was true when one of the girls reported him. One of my students came back to school in August with a dress and a sign saying she is trans. Coolio. No big deal. And then she left for 2 weeks. In America, if a student is gone for 2 weeks, there is going to be some form of talking to the parents. One of her friends told my co-workers and I to not bother because her family moved to Sweden. We thought the kid was joking. But a quick check on Facebook showed that the family moved to Sweden and never told anyone. No one has heard of the family since. There are minor activity on Facebook to show that they are alive and breathing. But aunts, uncles, and grandparents have not heard from the family since. We don't know if the trans thing and the sudden move are connected. Very sad story that happened a few years ago. A kid told me that a guy lit himself on fire at a bonfire. I didn't believe it until I read it in the paper. The culinary teacher who just had kids with her husband and the biology teacher were caught making out by a student during an event. It was confirmed by them soon after. I saw on Facebook recently that now they're married. Honestly, they look really happy. Wasn't a teacher at the time but heard a rumor in junior high that a cheerleader friend of mine was screwing our 40-year-old baseball coach. Thought that was crazy. Years later he was caught with some other junior student and went to jail, so maybe not so crazy. Heard in college. One of our teachers was blackmailed, threatened by a student into SX. Not good grades. Just SX. Confirmed publicly by the teacher himself after said student decided in her drunken stupor that speedating a concrete bridge at 160 km/h was a good idea. He didn't get into any issues for it because the student is known for pulling very bad stunts and getting away thanks to her very well placed family. Not too extreme. But during my time working as an English teacher in Japan, I knew of 2 boys in junior high, 2nd and 3rd grade who were potentially involved in a gang. Fast forward 6 months after I've come back to my home country. Those 2 boys plus 5 other from other areas had murdered another kid from another school in the area. I was informed by a friend still teaching in that area. It doesn't sound crazy, but given the country and the low levels of crime of any level there in the area where I worked, it was a huge shock. Not too extreme. Those 2 boys murdered another kid. Yeah. No big deal. Happens all the time. Girl in year 9 told everyone she has cancer and was dying. Rallied together. Raised money. Supported her. Then she also took a magic pill and got better. Left school straight after that as no one would let it down. When I was in HS there was a rumor about a math teacher and one of the seniors dating. I thought it was BS gossip until one day a sub shows up instead of Miss H. Turns out they were dating, sleeping together. A couple years later they're living together. He comes home from work and finds her in bed with a student from her current school. To this day, I'm still trying to clarify if one of my students actually flew to Florida for the sole purpose of sleeping with a married man and giving him HIV. I don't know how to figure it out for sure. But we all need to have goals in life. Edit. For clarification, the rumor was that she already had HIV and was trying to give it to him. Obligatory, not a teacher. Current student. Freshman year. Homecoming game. There's this legendary senior who does daring things. Apparently he also does heroin, but we don't talk about that. Everyone is saying he's going to streak during halftime. But no one is that dumb. Right? Wrong. Halftime starts. Cheerleaders are all out there and a guy wearing a football helmet, and only a football helmet, runs out into the field, past the cheerleaders, ass naked, and into the surrounding woods. He was later found by police lurking in a nearby swamp, waiting for his friends to pick him up. Obligatory, not a teacher. But when I was in high school, our school was under major construction and remodeling. As a sophomore, I heard one of the junior girls met a construction worker in the hallway and they had run away together and eloped. Turns out it was true. They went to West Virginia, BC. You can get married at 16 there, though technically that's with a parent's permission. Not sure how they got around that one. From that point on, we weren't allowed to interact with the construction workers at all. No talking. No waving. No smiling. Weird vibes in the hallway from then on. Sharing the space without any interaction. There was a rumor going around that I had FK'd the whole football team. It was kind of a joke, but the underclassmen took it seriously. So we played it up. Anytime a player saw me, I'd get a hug and they'd grab my ass. Real gay sh*t. Except I am gay. And I did blow some of them. After the rumor started. So it was a self-fulfilling rumor. Former student here with a rumor about a teacher. If that's okay. Many years ago, I heard a rumor that our English teacher and her husband, who was a coach at a different school, were swingers. Found out it was true after I graduated from a guy I've known all of my life that slept with the wife, and he had no reason to lie to me. Heard it from other sources as well. Come to find out that they preferred younger but always waited until the students were 18 and graduated so they wouldn't get in trouble. They are both principals now at different schools. Not really strange, but I was watching the Olympics where a female runner won gold. Recognized her as my student. Turned out the whole class were elite athletes. And that info was not really converted to me. Or I missed it. Turned out the whole class were elite athletes. What anime is this? My mom is a retired teacher. One day, one of the 7th or 8th grade girls was apparently in the boys' room, sucking off whoever came in. Kinda the wrong way round, but nevertheless. A teacher at a school near me cheated on his wife with another married teacher and got her pregnant. With triplets. There was a rumor that an English teacher at my middle school was a porn star. I thought it was a load of BS. Until my friend Nathan found a PRNO with her in it. Student Mike walked into a situation where a boyfriend was stabbing his girlfriend in a grocery store. Mike assisted her out of the situation, probably saving her life. Mike got stabbed in the hand for his trouble. At the time, a lot of other students were saying Mike was in a gang and that dude was an idiot for attacking Mike. A few years later, Mike got beat to within an inch of his life for attempting to steal weight from his own gang. Mike was eventually the key witness in a federal racketeering case and disappeared, probably witness protection. Never believed the rumors until I heard about his second misfortune. Such a range of feelings towards his life choices. Coach Carr made out with Trang Pak in the projection room above the auditorium. That he murdered someone and is in jail now. He was the nicest guy and one that I think about and miss talking to. He didn't only murder the person 6 months after graduating. He also gouged out the eyes of the person and stabbed so hard that the knife got stuck in the spine. Hearing about that was as if Mr. Rogers had done it. A complete shock. This happened recently. I used to work at this job with this girl who went to the same school as me. Anyways, she was a very sweet person, bad attitude, yes. But we got along every once in a while. Well, 2 weeks ago a former coach of mine in middle school got charged with having child pornography on his phone. He assisted kids that used to be in his classroom. Turns out, this is actually my co-worker's dad and I just never put the connection together. Last I heard of her, she's dropped out of high school and deleted all her social media accounts. I'm not a teacher and I'm sure nobody will see this, BC I'm late. Rumor went around my school that I just graduated from, that a teacher with a very good reputation with students and faculty had a severe gambling problem. Nobody believed it until she was let go about a month before the end of the year. Later found out that she had embezzled over $30,000 from student activities to play slots at a nearby Detroit casino. Their records showed she had spent $90,000 in the past year. I'll post the article link if anybody wants to see it. Not a teacher. But two of these things happened. Rumor spreads about that this kid, Lester, wants to do an L with a girl and film it. People laugh it off. Past 2 weeks, a video of it comes out on social media. He paid his friend to record it and did it in the stairwell. Therefore he was known as Lester the Molester. Also a few years back, about 15 but the teachers still remember, there was a rumor of some activities going on in the bathroom. A student tells his teacher there is what looks like 2 people in the stall. When the dean gets there he finds out there was a guy and a girl in the stall. Our principal in high school was arrested along with the head lunch lady. Apparently they were having sex around the school and were caught embezzling money from the school. During my senior year it was rumored that one of the assistant principals only had one testicle. He was quickly given the nickname you know. Administration found out, tried to squash the rumors and made a rule about only addressing staff by proper name. Fast forward to the end of the year and it's senior prank time. The senior class collectively bought hundreds of decks of Uno cards and scattered throughout the entire school. That I got him pregnant. Kid was able to fit his wee pecker into a glass Heineken bottleneck at a party over one weekend. And it fit. Easily. Hence we. I got an apology from our principal because I told him that the chemistry teacher shouldn't be trusted. I had difficulty doing well in chemistry. I was getting bad grades and not paying attention to my tests I was getting back. One day I compared mine to my girlfriend's and we had the same answers. She had a 97 and I had a 75. He wasn't even grading them. I told the principal that I think he was giving preferential treatment to girls. My grades immediately improved. So I guess the principal did actually approach the teacher about the tests. 2 years later the chem was fired for sending inappropriate emails to cheerleaders about their photos. He was the school photographer. My principal apologized in person to me and said he wished he had done more. So I asked him if he wanted to know which teachers were sleeping with students. His face went white. But he said he did. He was a good guy because I know this created 1,000 headaches for him. As credit obligatory, not a teacher but a girl that goes to my school started ranting on Snapchat that herpes is just like cancer. And that it's just a disease. Turned out, she actually did have herpes. Although I am skeptical because she is the type of person to do that kind of thing to get people's attention. Why does she think people think herpes is not a disease? Y'all are a bunch of dum-dums and need to start wearing condoms. High school student but had a few things of varying craziness happen recently. 1. A girl in our sister school sent gay PRN to a teacher by accident. 2. Teacher was mysteriously found dead in his apartment. Rumors say that he killed himself. 3. A student killed himself. I did not know him personally. The news was not spread via any sorts of media for privacy reasons. 4. A teacher spent about $150k over his allotted budget for the sports he was in charge of. He will be fired by the end of the year. A serious tag would have been beneficial here. This thread got me pregnant.